viewers, welcome once again to another edition of Let's Talk, a presentation of the Shillong Times group. Today we are gathered here once again with another fresh topic, and we are talking about the hawkers issue. Well, the relocation of the hawkers to designated spaces has been promised by the government time and again, and since over a year, and it has come to a roadblock, it seems, once again. And, of course, the Hawkers Association are claiming that they have never been consulted for this, and recently they have even gone on a protest. In fact, in Khyndai Lad area, they were keeping a vigil, night-long vigil, against the tourism minister's claim that they were consulted, and they have even termed this relocation of the hawkers as completely illegal. The November 24th deadline that has been given to us time and time again for the last almost this entire year has come and gone, and we are still back to square one, it seems. So the question that we are asking here, is there a solution? Will we find a solution to the hawkers issue? What are the possible solutions? And which is a win-win situation for all stakeholders so that we can mutually coexist? Because everybody, of course, has a right to livelihood, has also the right to safety and movement as well. So to discuss this issue, we are being joined by a very, very good panel here once again. To my extreme left is Reverend Kirsoy Parto. He, of course, is somebody who's very concerned with this hawkers issue and is also representing the tour here. We are also being joined by the Rangbashnong of Laitumkra, and he is Andrew A Jyrwa. And right at the center, we have Mr. Ronnie V Lyngdoh, who is the MLA, and he was also the former Urban Affairs Minister. And just next to me is Bertina Lyngdoh. Incidentally, let me tell you about Bertina Lyngdoh. She's in fact the first student who is visually impaired, as you can see her, but she has completed her master's in English, and presently she is continuing her studies furthermore and doing her PhD. Well, that's our panel. A very, very warm welcome to each one of you for coming to the studios of the Shillong Times and for being in this topic today that we have taken up. Does the hawkers issue have any plausible solutions? Thank you so much for your participation. I would like to begin with Mr. Ronnie V Lyngdoh. But Ronnie, you have previously been, as I just introduced, the former Urban Affairs Minister also. And you have seen what is going on with this issue. You know, this entire year, in fact, we have been getting dates after dates after dates of relocation of that the government has consulted with the stakeholders. And yet the 24th November deadline, which was so crucial, has come and gone. Do you think that the government actually has lost all its resources as well as clueless really regarding this whole issue?
Okay, thank you for having me in this panel discussion, of course, with very distinguished panelists. And it is a very, very important issue. First, I would like to congratulate the then government, UPA government, for bringing a very, very important piece of legislation, ensuring that, you know, the marginalized people have the means of livelihood. That's why this Hawkers Vendors Act was enacted, and to ensure that, you know, they find space to earn their livelihood. So regarding, you know, the deadline you were talking about, I think was an Urban Affairs Minister for about a year or so. We had taken up this issue. We had tried to identify spaces where they can be located, you see. So there is a provision in the Act that you have to have a town vending committee. I don't know if the present government has that committee or not. Then if you have that committee, it has to be, you know, constituted of, government officials, then from the municipal or the urban local bodies or rural local bodies, and then of course the stakeholders. Okay, so you have a mutual, amiable understanding where to be located, where they should be located, because, you know, while they earn their livelihood, but they should not be an impediment to movement of commuters, pedestrians. For example, now you'll see certain sidewalks have been completely been occupied by these hawkers.
Right.
So that puts commuters, pedestrians, you know, in harm's way. For example, if they have to, you know, maneuver the vehicles, the, you know, traffic. So I think in that way, we have to look at both sides.
Right.
the hawker's point of view and then the citizens' point of view also, so that it doesn't impede the movement of traffic, doesn't impede the movement of pedestrians. At the same time, they're able to earn their livelihood. So may I suggest that there are many government land, okay? Then of course take all the stakeholders into confidence and identify where they should be located.
Okay.
It's not the hawkers who will decide where they will sit. It's the town vending committee who will decide where they should sit.
Okay. Because right now, I think the hawkers recently, what has come to our consideration is that they have refused now to go to anywhere, and they said that they'll continue to be there. We will get, of course, more actual situation from Reverend Perthu in a little while. But I bring in Andrew. You are the Rangbash now of the Laimukra locality, which was once upon a time didn't have this issue of hawkers occupying every available footpath, which it has become right now. I understand that livelihood is important. So is the free movement of every pedestrian. And we say that we shouldn't bring our cars and we should walk. Where is the place to walk? So tell us your understanding of this situation, and also why was it allowed in the first place for Laimukra? I'm just taking this area, this Laimukra, since you're the Rangbash town. Why was it allowed, say, 4, 5, or 6 years back, to become the way it has become? Every pavement is almost occupied with every kind of hawkers hawking in that place.
Thank you so much for having me. I also take this opportunity to thank my panelists, Ronnie and Pastor Perthu, and respectfully for Kopertina. That's a very, very good question, actually, to start with. Laimukra has always been a place where people love to come to Laimukra. They prefer Laimukra next to Police Bazaar for so many obvious reasons. And because of that reason, that many business establishments also have come up, have thrived in Laimukra, and have been doing very, very well. And secondly, the population is also there to cater to all these businesses that are there, that are established in Laimukra. And so because of that reason, people also have an interest in setting up businesses. But the question that has been there in everybody's mind of late, especially after the pandemic, is the sort of invasion, I would use the word invasion, of people who've come and just setting up shops anywhere and everywhere. And then they have been so, that the number of these people who've set up shops there in Laimukra, especially invading the streets of Laimukra, has come to such a point that it has become very, very, very difficult for everyone to manage, especially people who are using the footpaths. Moreover, the streets, you would see that on the side, on PWD road itself, people are hawking, doing their business. With Shillong now having a problem of the lack of spaces for parking of vehicles, you would see that the vehicles are no longer able to park on the roadsides, which will then Laimukra Baroni will know that Laimukra has a place for vehicles to park on the roadside, even though the fees are being levied and controlled by the Urban Affairs and Shillong Municipal Board. But after the pandemic, like I mentioned, the spiraling of these hawkers have become so uncontrollable, and there is a reason why it has been so. But to get to the point back to where you have specifically point out and ask, Laimukra has never been a hawking zone. History of Laimukra says that people, from the neighboring villages of Laimukra, they would come. Because we still have a lot of people tilling the land, cultivating vegetables and fruits and all that. So they would come and sell their wares, their produce in the streets of Lamukra. Then that for a short period of time, say for about an hour or so, and when those produce are over, they would pack and they would go back. Those people were there always, and they are also managed in such a way by the Dorbar, and they are also very respectful, and they would never do any other activities besides those 1 or 2 hours in the evening. So gradually, what happened is these number of because of the economic situation that are there. Also, this is one aspect that has to be discussed also because of the economic situation.
But doesn't the Rangba Shnong or the Shnong have any role to play really when it comes to decision taking, or when a hawker is sitting suddenly overnight you see somebody else is sitting there?
No. Like I said, the Darbar has always played a very, very active role in making sure that unwanted people do not simply set up shops anywhere and everywhere in the streets of Lamukra. We have always managed that. The previous Darbars, the previous Rambashnals will also agree to this point. We've always managed that. We've been able to control that. We've always been able to control that. But then there was an incident, and I do not want to discuss that incident here.
Okay.
Because of that incident, Pastor Porto is also aware of that, that the matter actually was taken out of the hands of the Dorbar. And because of that reason, and that reason alone, we are here at this particular point.
So right now the Dorbar doesn't have any hand in controlling the hawkers there in the sidewalks of Lamukra area?
As far as we are concerned, we make sure that the pedestrians are not hampered.
Okay.
And then that right of way is not being infringed in any manner. But then at the end of the day, these hawkers are also very unmanageable.
Increasing every single day.
So that's the reason why we have people like Kong Bertina suffering.
Absolutely, and that is why she's here. And may I just bring her in right now? Kong Bertina Lyngdoh, thank you so much, for your participation. It is so important that to make this program inclusive, that you have been able to join us, leaving a very small baby at home, and still she has given us her time and, the effort that she has put in. I really, really congratulate and thank you so much. But may I ask a question to you? You are completely visually impaired. You are carrying a white cane with you, which only proves this, that you use this whenever you move in Lamukra. You also, were from Bethany Society. Tell us what are the, how you feel troubled when you have to go to your place of work or where you study and back again, especially in the sidewalks, in the footpaths, or besides the road every single day. And not just you, anybody like you who has a physical problem. What is the challenges that they face?
Thank you so much, Ma'am Moshmi. I would take this opportunity also to thank all of you here. Hawkers issue, I should say, it's not a new issue now. It has been an issue that I should say that the government should be able to solve by now. I have been in Lamukra for many years. I was brought up there in Lamukra in Bethany Society. So actually there was a saying which says that, I don't know who says, but I've come through and I heard through that the Lamukra is actually the main town of Shillong. So I think that's the reason that these days the hawkers have been so much into, especially the town of Lamukra. Yes, now I stayed in Nong Thamai Dungdung. There has not been so much of hawkers, but when it comes to pavement or when it comes to the sidewalks, especially with persons with disabilities, especially with those who are visually impaired and those who are using the wheelchairs, the locomotors. You can see, for instance, in Lamukra, right from beat house so fire brigade so onwards to police point onwards. Both sides there are hawkers. I should not say that why they should sit here and earn a living. That is not what we should say, because each and every one of us, we need a living, we need to earn, we need to eat. So we shouldn't say that also. But the question that arises that why is the every government that comes to Meghalaya, government after government, every government that comes to power, they would always say that we would solve this issue, that with a promise that this issue would be solved. And then we public, we say, okay, maybe they would really solve the issue. So we would give them a chance, first chance, second chance, third chance, and then more chances we give them. So now in Laimukra, especially if we see both sides are sitting, even at the doorsteps of shops, doorsteps of restaurant, doorsteps of other shops, some people are still sitting there, and they want to earn, they earn a living. So, and the saddest part of that, there is one visually impaired. She has also been like a hawker in Laimukra there near Nazareth Point, selling kwai dong. So when I found this and when I come across this, I know her very well. It was just like, what is the government of Meghalaya doing? Okay, for those who are without visually impaired or without any disability, it's quite a different thing. But what can we see now? Even in Matpran, so many persons with disabilities, they are hawkers sitting and selling socks 50 rupees. That is again also another issue.
Yes, of course we will take that up also. But I was just asking,
Then-
what is the kind of problem, Bertina, you face when you have to? There must be difficulties for you,
Yes.
isn't it?
So now when the hawkers are occupying at the pavement, what happens is that for us visually impaired, when we have to walk, especially when no one is there with us, when we independently have to walk, reach our destination or go to our needs or go to our study centers or whatever, we are using this white cane holding, because without this we will not be able to move. So there's no doubt we have to carry this, even if we have a sighted guide or if we don't have a sighted guide, but still we have to carry this. So when we walk, we have to make use of our white cane, left, right. Sometimes what happens is that there are hawkers sitting on the roadside, they just put a plastic on top of the plastic or whatever on the ground. They keep their clothes or they keep their foodstuffs and all. And our stick just happened to slide onto their things. And some of them, they don't like. I face this. They curse us. They curse us like blind people. Why are you walking all by yourself? Why don't you bring somebody? Even I should say this, even with bad words also, they used to speak back at us, because we mistakenly slide our white cane onto their things, especially if it is food stuff or clothes and all like that. No, they don't like vegetables and all that, meat and all that. So that is very the saddest part. And for those who are using the wheelchairs also, the wheelchair is quite big.
It needs a little more
It
space.
needs more space. And how can it go up to the footpath and walk? Because people also are walking, and there are people coming from other side. There are also people coming from the back side, front side, and the wheelchair, such a big wheelchair will have to be in the middle, and so crowded people. And there are people who used to, they really don't like, because they take that as a disturbances, as a disturbances for other people to walk.
Right. So
I
we
face
completely
this.
understand, what we understand is that I mean, even for us, who are don't have so much of problem, even the quote unquote normal people do face a lot of inconvenience. So I can very well understand what is the harrowing time people with disabilities have to go through. So I just bring in Reverend Pirthu finally. You have been at the helm, really taking up this issue. Of course, as I said, everybody has the right to livelihood, but then everybody also, as I said, has that. Now, what is the current status with this situation now? Because, as I said in the beginning, dates after dates have been given, and the one of the Hawkers Association, it's got a rather long name here, which is called the, if I may, yes, Meghalaya.
And Greater Shillong.
Yes, yeah. MGSPHSVA, right? They claim that they are the largest organization representing the hawkers, and they have now said they will not move to any land which is given. They will not really, and that's why they also protested. You can tell us the current status. So what is your take on this? You've just heard all of our panelists, really. As I said, everybody has the right to livelihood, but everybody also has the right to free movement.
Thank you, Mosh, for this time for inviting me to this panel.
Yeah.
I also send my regards to the Rambashnong, our Honorable MLA, who was also the minister
Yes.
at one point of time in charge of urban. And he is rightfully claimed that it was the UPA government who moved the national policy
Right.
on street vendors and alleviation of urban poverty, which was launched in 2004 and also revised in 2009. But I become more now, involved with more empathy for Kong Bertina also, who has to, face all the difficulties, not only her, even other people.
Yeah, senior citizens.
But
and
let me
children
begin.
Also,
Let me begin. I have brought with me, luckily,
the law.
no, not the law.
The street vendors
This
protection.
is the planning for street vending.
Yes.
It is a well thought of research conducted by our association, the
Right.
Meghalaya and Greater Shillong Progressive Hawkers and Street Vendors Association.
Right.
And this was presented by us before the Urban Affairs Department way back in 2018. How to solve this issue.
Right.
And this vending plan is as per the central law, which is the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act 2014.
Right.
And this vending plan, which is prepared by the association, is based on the principle that the plan for street vending cannot be done in isolation, but has to be done in connection with city planning, which includes parking, pedestrian walkway, ensuring especially accessibility to people with differently abled.
Right.
So this is our vending plan way back in 2018.
Right.
But if you allow me, Moish, let me also state here, let us humanize this issue. Because my approach to the problems of street vendors and hawkers and their right to livelihood is holistic. These are the citizens of the state who are living on the edge, on the margins. They do not need just our empathy. But more important at this moment, what they need is they need to be emancipated from poverty, from uncertainty, from anxiety, from fear, from injustice, from exploitation, and from enslavement. And Rambashnong Ba Andrew, he was right. People would love to go to Laimkra. Laimkra, if you go by the law, it's a natural market. And in a natural market, it is described in the law, there will be no relocation of street vendors and hawkers from that place. because natural markets are markets where buyers and sellers traditionally congregated over the years of time, over the period of time, for buying and selling of goods. And also in the law, there is what it's called the heritage market. Market where street vendors have engaged in their business for over 50 years
Okay.
can be declared or can be designated as heritage market. And as per the law, in heritage market also relocation is not possible.
Okay.
And historically, Yodo is a heritage market. In the pre-independent era, part of Yodo towards the slope of Yomolong, it was called a Yomadan.
Okay.
So one of the characteristics of our markets also, even in Shillong, in the suburbs, in the rural areas, it's all about people selling and buying on the streets. I mean, on the ground. I mean, it's a Yomadan. So these are components of the law.
Okay.
And now, when it comes to the implementation of the law, there lies the problem. The law has been passed by the Parliament of India way back in February-March 2014. And 9 months after, our government, I think it was the Congress government at the time, they passed their own law. But of course, now the state law has been repealed.
Yes.
Now the central law is prevailing. So what is needed now is to implement the law in letter and spirit.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So your point very well taken. Anything you would like to just quickly add to what he has just said?
Just to add to what counter a little bit what Professor Pastor Perto just elaborated. In the previous TVC, the then TVC,
Okay.
which was already it's not there anymore. In the previous TVC, Lamukra is designated as a non-vending area
Okay.
because of one reason, that we already have a market there.
Okay.
Now it's under reconstruction,
Right.
and it's double the size of what the previous market already is,
And it will be more organized.
and it will
as
be
well.
more organized. Secondly, yes, based on whatever he has stated, that it is a heritage market. It is a heritage market. It is a Yomadan. All right. Then, but the problem is, you simply cannot come and just vend anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly.
If you take it from that point of view, from the economic point of view, that yes, it has a market and everyone can come, everyone can, have a go at whatever the market there is available. That means what? We'll be living in chaos. That is the whole reason
Right.
where we cannot
And
just
that
simply
is-
do
that-
whatever.
that is
But,
what has
Mosh,
happened,
Mosh,
not just in
Mosh, just
Lamukra area,
one line.
even police.
Just one line. By definition, natural market or heritage market does not give you a license to do whatever you like. But these are prescriptions in the law that natural markets and heritage market relocation will not be, there will be no relocation.
Right.
It's not that it's not a license to do whatever you want or to sit anywhere you want.
No,
But,
what you're saying.
that's where
I'd like to
the-
add
yeah.
something.
No,
I'd like
but
to add
then
something.
again,
you see,
yeah.
there should be a give and take. No?
Right,
You
exactly.
cannot be obstinate because we are hawkers. There is a law. We will sit any and everywhere.
Anywhere,
It should
exactly.
be a give and
No,
take.
and
Now,
times
I
have
mean,
changed.
we have to adjust.
Yeah.
Look at Bertina.
Right.
Okay, she's physically,
Challenged.
visually impaired.
Mm.
Okay, now she's just mentioned if her walking stick, hits the
The hawkers.
hawker's wares. She's
She
mentioned
has to
meat
face.
also.
Yeah.
Now you look at that unhygiene. Now if meat, which we're going to consume, is stored by the roadside, just imagine the fumes from the vehicles.
Yeah.
Are we not, consuming poison? No, food should be stored properly. I understand that what Reverend Pato was saying, we have to humanize. What about humanizing the pedestrian? What about
Exactly.
humanizing
That's what I said. The
you know,
rights are there
motorists?
for
Yeah.
everybody.
You see, now the
Mm.
point is,
Mm.
now, because I remember, a group of vendors came and met me when I was the minister.
Okay.
I said, look here, we're trying to locate a space for you
Mm.
where you can sell your wares, your hawkers, expedite.
Mm.
We are going to do that. In fact, we have identified places, but they're simply obstinate. No, we've been sitting at that particular space for more than 50 years. We're not going to shift. I mean, how do we work that out?
Exactly.
I just like to
You see,
I-
how do we
Yeah.
work that out?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to understand
Mm.
the government has to look at the interests of every people from
Yes,
all walks of
exactly.
life.
Everybody has to give in
You
a
see,
little bit.
I just
Forget
like to-
about visually impaired.
Yeah.
Even normal persons.
Mm.
For example, when I go to Lambda, I would like to buy something. There's no space to
Yes.
park.
Absolutely not.
Now there are shopkeepers who say, Baron, you've not seen you for a long time. I
No,
said,
but-
where do I park my vehicle?
No,
you
no,
see,
but
now for
let us-
example,
Yeah.
Reverend,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all due respect
Yeah,
to you,
yeah,
now you've occupied the road.
yeah.
Can you call that a heritage market?
Mm.
Can you call that a natural market?
No, but talking
Okay,
about
what
heritage-
we're talking
yeah.
about is, fine, if there's a space that doesn't impede the movement of motorists, fine, you occupy that space. We will identify. But they said, no, we've been sitting at that particular place since my mother, and I'm the daughter, I'm going to sit there. I mean,
No, and heritage
I
market
mean, you have
and
to respect the
natural
law
market.
also.
Heritage market and natural market
No,
was
Moz-
there once upon. Shillong has
just
grown.
2
Yeah.
points. Just 2
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
See, let us also look at the other sections of the law. We haven't come to that point.
Okay.
See, I'm saying just because I'm taking a cue from what
Okay.
has been said,
Fine. Mm.
I have more empathy for Kong Bertina, and also I want to state that Shillong is not a place for people like her. Even our buildings, they are not accessible. Even our churches, our temples
Yeah,
in
that
Shillong,
is
they are
another
not
issue, of course. Yeah,
yeah,
that is
I'm
another
just saying.
issue. Yeah.
But let us also look at the other sections of the law. Section 3 of this law is very, very important.
Mm.
It has to do with survey. It has to do with identifying of vending zones. And also it has to do with, issuing of vending certificates. And there is also section 5, which also put a conditions for people who are doing business on the roadside, whom we call them as hawkers or street vendors. There is also section 10, which pertains to the suspension and revocation of licenses. And these are all, in the law.
But the government
Let
has
me
said,
interrupt. Let
yeah,
me interrupt
yeah.
what Reverend
Mm.
Pastor has been saying. When I was the Urban Affairs Minister, see, we asked the hawkers, please get themselves registered.
Registered, okay.
Some registered, and then they were forced by the others, do not go and register.
Okay.
I mean, how do you expect the government to solve your problem when you don't want to cooperate with the government? Okay, they refused, simply refused. Initially, some went. Then we were informed that, there was some pressure applied on those who have registered
Okay.
to withdraw. Now,
but
unless you can identify, like you were saying, it has to be registered,
Mm.
right? Then we will know how many
How many
people,
of them are there?
are hawkers, what kind of wares they are selling. So then we can designate. For example, if somebody is selling vegetable products, we designate a proper place.
Absolutely.
Somebody with, footwear
Clothing,
or
yes.
clothing or whatever
Mm.
utensils, we can designate so that people know. Now, if I want to buy vegetables, I go to that particular hawking zone.
Mm.
When I want to buy, other wares,
Mm.
for example, kitchenware or whatever.
Mm.
But simply they refuse to register. I mean, how do we
No, but
expect us to
isn't
solve
that
problem?
also right, Reverend Pirtu, that the government has been trying for the
Yes,
last
yes.
several months now.
Yes.
I'm sure that they have done their bit. They've
See,
also
I
passed
just
through
like
the
to-
TVC also.
I just like to add
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
Pastor Pertu had just
Mm.
mentioned earlier. We, like I said, Laimukra Dorbar is categorically, I'm saying that we do not want hawkers on the streets of Laimukra. One. But when I say that from humanitarian point of view, we are the first Dorbar Shnong to work hand in hand in tandem with the government, and we are the first Dorbar Shnong to have identified and given the government helping hand in saying that, look, we have identified places
Mm.
where we can relocate these hawkers.
Right.
All right, that is number one.
Mm.
Why are we against hawkers, vendors on the streets of Langkawi? Number one, we have problem of the differently able. Number two, in the evening when they have, when hawking is done,
Yes, yes.
the pile
The
of
mess.
garbage
Mm,
and the mess
mm.
and the filth that these people leave behind is something that
It becomes
The-
somebody else's
yes,
problem
it's
really
somebody
to
else's
take care
problem.
of. Yeah.
and we have to come out at night and we have to come with the municipal people
Mm.
and we have to make sure that these people do not simply do whatever they want.
Mhm.
And to what Baroni has just mentioned earlier, let us talk from the point of view of food safety.
Mhm.
If we have to discuss on the issue
You know,
of
what
food
about the
safety, it will
safety of
take
the
us another.
of the hawkers themselves?
It's all addressed in the law,
the
Moise.
cars are literally touching them and going.
See,
What if a new
See,
person who's driving
what-
actually who's
no,
to be
what
taken
ba-
if there is an accident? I mean, that is
No,
my worry
Moise,
constantly also.
Moise,
Yes.
Moise,
Yeah.
Moise, with due respect
Mm.
to other
Yeah, yeah,
panelists,
yeah.
I think it seems to me that we are discussing as if there is no
No,
law.
no,
and
no,
order.
no.
just
We
one
No,
need-
minute.
we are aware.
Yeah.
We are aware.
Just one
we,
We
minute.
are aware.
we
Just-
want
just
the
one
mutual
minute.
give and take, actually.
Just one
Yes.
minute.
Mm.
I think Baroni was referring to the old law. If you ask me about the Meghalaya Act,
Okay.
which was passed in November 2014,
Mm.
that too we totally reject.
Okay.
Okay. And we protested in 2016. We protested in front of the municipal office. We demand for the implementation of the central law. And, coincidentally, 9 years around the same time, November, December, again, to this year, we marched to the municipal office and we encamped at Khyndai Lad, not to demand for the law, but to defend the law.
Yeah. But
And
when you're
but
saying,
Baroni,
yeah.
let me assure to Baroni, and also I request him to help, because he's a public representative, that this time we are working hand in hand with the government. This time, in fact, I'm telling you, the TVC is functioning. I mean, to October 2022, the government has notified the constitution of the Provisional Town Vending Committee, where from our association there are 4 members of the TVC.
Okay, that's good.
And
Mm.
on the 3rd of June, on the 6th of June 2023, they had a meeting and they resolved to start immediately the survey from the 13th of June 2023. But for the reason best known to the authority, that did not kick start.
Right.
Again in November,
Mm.
they had a meeting and they resolved to start the first phase of survey. That had been done.
Okay.
And the lists are there and are yet to be publicized. Because as per the process, as per the law and the rules, once the list is publicized, then there will be claims, counterclaims, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, I assure you, and I assure the residents of the city that this law, street vendors, they have accepted it and they must accept it.
Yeah, what you are saying is, I mean, we do believe you, but then we unfortunately are not getting a government's perspective here, because despite our best efforts, no government representative was available forthcoming to come actually for this discussion. We tried our level best. We would have got many more answers from them as to where is the problem. Now coming back to now, we cannot keep going to the circles. We have discussed this
yeah.
in previous issue of Let's Talk also. We have taken it up again because we are looking now for solutions. We are asking, is there a solution? Because there should be a give and a take. As Baroni also has said, obstinacy will not work. When the government is giving land, why are the hawkers not willing to go to those land? Where lies the problem? When you are saying to apply the law in letter and spirit, what do you mean
Yes.
by letter and spirit?
Letter in spirit means, see, TVC, as far as the street vending, protection of street vendors, protection of livelihood and regulation of street vending act 2014, TVC is very crucial. It plays a very crucial role because one, they have to do a survey or a registration or census of the street vendors who are, doing business on the street, pavements, as per the definition of the law. And once the survey is done, of course, they have to publicize, there will be claims, counterclaims. And then another crucial step that they have to take, they have the TVC, which means every member of the TVC, they have the responsibility to designate vending zones.
Okay.
That has not been done yet.
Okay.
And then the last part is that the TVC is the responsibility or the duty of the TVC to issue vending certificates.
Exactly.
And the law, because see, this is about protection of livelihood, and the law says that until and unless survey is done, until and unless vending plan has been formulated, there will be no relocation nor eviction. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I get
beyond,
this point.
I'm not
I get
saying
this
beyond
point.
the law.
Yeah,
So I
right,
think there
absolutely.
lies the problem.
Yeah.
You know, the authority is not taking this issue
Yes,
seriously.
very
I think
seriously.
very
Yeah.
That's the
what
point.
Reverend Photo.
Mm.
You see, now if a town vending committee has been
Yeah.
constituted,
Mm.
now I mean, they should be serious about
Yeah,
it because you know it hampers the livelihood, hampers the movement of pedestrian commuters.
correct.
So I think we have to come to a solution. We cannot just shirk our
Yes, yes.
responsibility, shift the blame. The hawkers will blame the government will blame the hawkers. I
Right.
think we have to come to a
Yeah, yeah.
solution.
Right, right.
Let us
I agree with
ensure
you.
the
Yeah.
rule of law here.
Absolutely,
You see,
because the
as
government.
it appears now, our state has become more or less lawless.
Correct. We hope not really. Because we're all law-abiding citizens, and the plan of the government, to beautify certain areas, since we are a tourist, state, it's good enough, fair enough, to making it a pedestrian walking zone, exact. Also, but then what we understand is that it should be done in the proper manner, taking all stakeholders into
Exactly.
consideration.
Yeah.
Quick word from you before we go in for a very short commercial break.
I think so. We will only come to a solution if both work together, the public
Correct.
and the government. That
And-
is the only thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to
and
say.
they are serious about it. Okay, we are just going in because we haven't really taken up the livelihood issue, because that is also the very fact that there are so many hawkers hawking. That is also a serious matter. Why do we have so many from the rural areas actually coming and hawking for their livelihood? That, and what are the possible solutions that you people can provide? And each one of us take it seriously, as also the government. We'll look into that in a little while. We're going in for a very, very short commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, so viewers, welcome back. As you have seen, that the topic that we have taken up into for discussion today is about the hawkers issue once again, and we are looking for if there are any plausible solutions to this very, very long and oft repeated and promised problem in our state or in Shillong city. Of course, you have heard our panelists speak so far, but then coming back to this point, Mr. Ronnie, isn't this also a livelihood issue? The fact that so many people, she said, even the blind people, even the people who are physically challenged are actually hawking. So there is some kind of a problem here.
Yeah, it is a social
yes,
problem.
it is a social problem
I
that also
think-
needs to be
I think
addressed.
it is in the public domain that in our society, there are about 43% women who are single mothers.
Right.
You see, that is a very, very serious social issue which we have to address. Maybe right starts from the family, then the Shillong, then
Right.
goes on. We have to solve this issue because you'll see most of those hawkers are women.
Correct.
So I think we have to address that. The church leaders, the social activists, we have to address this issue because I think somehow the family is they break up so easily. So what happens is the father abandons the family, and it's the duty of the mother to take care of the children. Okay, now what option is there? To go to the street and hawk. Okay, so I think we have to look at that issue also.
Yes, a very realistic issue this is.
Yeah, it is,
It's a real
especially in
issue.
our society.
Right.
Because our social fabric is so loose that a man can simply walk out of the family and leave the lurch the mercy of
Yeah.
So I
That
think
is-
this is
that
one
is
issue
indeed.
we have to
And
address.
uh,
And then another point is, I think there is a provision in the law that if a proper survey is done, that there is nobody in that family who makes a livelihood. Then those people can be allowed to hawk.
okay.
Now you may have 4 or 5 members of the same family hawking.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
You see, unless a survey is done and the government take this issue seriously, do a proper survey, find out if that particular person, that particular individual, there is nobody else, earning a livelihood, then they should be allowed to hawk. If there's somebody else, they need not depend on hawking for their livelihood, then they should not be allowed.
Yeah.
Then that will reduce the numbers. Because it seems now, it appears, if there's a space, somebody goes and occupies it.
That's the point, Baroni. That is under Section 5. The conditions for hawking. He or she has no means of livelihood. And he or she, a vendor, cannot transfer the vending license, nor rent, nor keep a help.
Okay.
Sometimes, people, they think that, oh, I can do some other work. So you keep for me. I'll pay you just a daily wage. No, that is not allowed. Even from us, our association also, when I got engaged with them from day one, I said illegality will not be allowed.
Okay.
And I can tell you, if the law is implemented in letter and spirit, nearly 15% will be solved. I mean, at the moment, because there are people like Baroni said, of course, unemployment is on the rise. Everyone will come on the streets. There are people who come in the evening and they do other stuff during the daytime. I mean, a hawker is a person who sits there in that vending space, and that is the only means of livelihood.
Yeah, totally.
I do hope that the law will be implemented in its proper spirit, because the problem is right now, you have 5-6 hawkers, right? They might be vegetable vendors, or they might be selling clothes, or they might be selling wares. They will come and occupy those spaces. But sadly, in the evening, at night, I should say, after 12, after 11 or 12, what happens is a vehicle will come, one vehicle with one person who will have a diary and who will note down whatever that person has been doing business on that particular day. So he will go and collect, each and everyone will go and dump it on that particular car. And in the morning, next day, the same vehicle will come and put back those vegetable or those wares exactly. I hope, because if it's implemented with
Which vehicle is that?
Vehicle vendors are everywhere.
Privately owned.
Yes,
that
You can
means
spill the
managed
beans
by
to
one
us,
person.
Really. You
Managed
spill
by
the beans,
one.
it's okay. We are
Yeah,
having a discussion.
managed by
Let's
one
have an
person.
open discussion.
No,
So you understand, so that
Yeah.
some kind of dalali is going on.
Exactly.
You
That is
understand?
what I said.
So if it's implemented as per
Yeah.
the law, then all those will disappear. I just pray that all those will disappear.
This law does not address the vehicles. I think for vehicles in other cities, they have a separate law. And also, see,
Are you not aware of these dalal business also who are actually collecting this? This is a common.
No, let
common
me tell you.
reality.
Yeah,
The
let me be
people are
frank with
collecting
you.
money.
Let me
Yeah.
be frank with
Yes,
you.
please do.
Street vendors and hawkers are the most exploited people. They have been exploited left and right. Our association was formed in 2016. And before that, there are people who were doing this dadagiri, which also include respectfully leaders of few sects, who keep on collecting. And there are also educated people like, educated people who went to them as the Messiah and, tell, oh, I'll help you form this association, and they just disappear. But after we formed, let me tell you 2-3 incidents. Around 3 or 4 people, we managed to kick them from the association because they are also, doing some
things.
middlemen, types between the, even the officials from the government, with due respect. And we were able to chase them, and we suspended and we expelled them from the association. They were vendors, and one of them, he just left the state also. And then in the course of our engagement, especially during this season, hawkers will receive letters, please donate for this festival, for that festival. And we put a stop. And also through this channel, if you find anyone, especially if our members, report to us, we have an independent inquiry committee
Good.
of 3 members. One is from the association, 2 from outside who are not members of the association. Please put a complaint. If you know anyone, please put a complaint. We will not hesitate even to file an FIR.
Right.
That's great.
No, I
I
think
mean,
I
we can
want to
always
like,
put
Which means-
I
something
would
yeah,
like
down.
to appreciate
so-
what
Yes,
Reverend
absolutely.
was saying.
Yeah.
Because you see, now we need NGOs like them, okay, to supplement or complement the work of the government, the work of the authorities. For example, if the Darbar Shillong cannot tackle the problem, they are there. So working in tandem, you can
Yes,
solve all those problems.
Right,
you know.
exactly.
I think we should not be seen as
One against the other.
one
right?
against the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You know.
We are here to
We're not
coexist.
to confront
mutually.
here, but
Yeah.
we're here to come find a solution to the problem that is facing,
Yeah, actually,
especially
I
the
was
most
about to come to
marginalized.
this.
Okay.
See,
people.
this is also part of that presentation.
Mhm.
See, to ease the congestion, we have also put a plan, the timing of vending,
Okay.
Okay.
and the,
When to vend, yeah.
group of vendors who are,
groups?
Right.
who are selling stuffs which, they can only vend during the daytime or morning time or evening. And then, which also we base on, on the labor law, which one should not exceed 8 hours of, working hours. And also the sizes, if your camera can pan,
Yes.
the sizes,
Yes. Mm.
yeah, the sizes of your, whatever stalls that you put on the
Okay.
street, the sizes, there should be a prescribed sizes for different categories of vendors who are vending articles, food items, and so on and so forth. And coming to food, time and again, we worked with the Food Safety Authority of Meghalaya, the government of Meghalaya.
Yeah.
I think if this year we have had 3 or 4 trainings for our food vendors. But still, I'm not saying that we have reached that mark. But of course, there is also a directive from the High Court.
Absolutely.
So which means
Yeah.
what you wanted to say, because see, according to Article 7, the categories of street vending, right? So there are full-time vendors, part-time vendors,
Yes.
night vendors.
Yes.
All right. So now the big question is, you have vendors who are full-time vendors, they have a specific timing.
Yeah, it
Full-time
depends on
vendors
what
have a
business they
specific
do.
timing. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Depend on what business they do. And the night vendors, they have a specific timing.
Yeah, like
But
in
the
Khyndai Lad.
yes, even in Lamukra also.
Yeah.
So, but the issue here is, your part-time vendors will have a night vending time in Lamukra, and will do a morning vending in.
No.
Yes,
No
that-
one can hold
No,
two
but-
licenses in.
No,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
is
what
illegal.
I'm saying. But
Then
that's
that
what I'm
is
saying.
legal.
But that's what I'm saying. So, which means that if it is implemented,
Yeah.
that will
Yeah.
will
Come
not
to
be
an end.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Because as of
license
now-
will be for that.
As
Yeah.
of now, that
This is
happening.
what is happening.
That is
Okay.
No survey,
But
no
talking
identification.
like you said-
talking about
like
food
you said,
safety,
food
I
safety.
don't know if
Yes,
you've done a
food
survey.
safety.
When you go
Ah.
towards Muda parking,
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
a lot of food stuff being sold.
Yeah.
There is completely no safety
Measures at all.
measures being
What
taken.
about the ones that is next to civil hospital? The whole pavement is totally gone.
No,
It's
that is
out
they've
of
occupied the
bounds.
payment.
Yeah,
What I'm talking
totally
about is
occupied.
what Reverend
Yeah.
Patu was saying
Mm.
was, they go time and again with the food safety.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we check.
But then if you go towards, in Police Bazaar, you go towards Buddha, you'll see, noodles being prepared and
Yes.
eggs and omelets.
Mm.
Completely, there is no protective, no safety measures being taken to ensure that those food are not
Are safe for
contaminated.
human consumption.
They're not
really.
contaminated.
Yeah.
I think they are contaminated
Yeah.
and people will get sick.
Yes. So what we understand so far is that this law that has been provided, that needs to be implemented. The government
Exactly.
needs to be
Yes.
serious
Yeah,
about
yes.
it.
Serious.
I mean,
Take
it
all
is giving us-
stakeholders into
yes,
confidence.
Yes.
Take all
Absolutely.
stakeholders,
Very
the
interesting,
hawkers,
huh?
the organization that
Yeah.
is, looking after their welfare, the local authority, the Barshnam, and then government officials, all should be taken care of and then implement as quickly as possible to
Yes.
ensure,
And,
the welfare of each and
Government,
everyone.
the
Yeah.
government should not run away from
And
this
it is very
responsibility.
unfortunate. It
They
is
have
very,
run away
very
from this
unfortunate.
debate today.
Yes.
They have
And
not
You
been
see,
a part of
it
this,
is very
despite
unfortunate
being
that
inviting
when we were informed by you,
Mm.
the government, nobody from the government was willing to come forward.
Yes.
That only
It's
shows how
The attitude.
insensitive they are to this
insensitive.
issue. They're only paying lip service.
The composition of the TVC also is as such, where everyone is involved. Of course, 40% from amongst the street vendors and hawkers, 10% representatives of localities, I can say. We have the Shillong, even
So
in
we-
both municipal and non-municipal.
Yeah.
And also, we have to consider Shillong.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We have multiple layers of,
So
administration,
one question to you,
Yeah.
Aba. Will the hawkers now go to the designated place that the government will choose and give the
Not
hawkers?
choose. The TVC has to
Okay, the
designate.
TVC.
Yeah,
What the TVC?
because they will be part of that process.
So they will be willing to go to those designated government
They
lands.
have been
there.
attending TVC meetings regularly, and the
Okay.
next meeting will happen soon by next week.
No, I just wanted to ask Pastor
Reverend.
Bertu,
Yeah.
are you part of the TVC?
No, I'm not part because I'm not a vendor.
Mm.
But by virtue of Section 7.5
Hmm.
of the Memorandum of Association of the Hawkers Association, I am an invitee member. So-
Absolutely. And
because
I-
we don't want,
Yeah.
because see,
Because we
TVC,
see
they
as
have to represent themselves.
Yeah.
Why should, someone represent them?
besides Motfran, Khyndai Lad, and Polo area and certain areas of Laban. Limekra is also one area where the hawkers are in huge numbers.
Right.
But then, as per the professional TVC, I do not know who represents the Dorbar Shnong in that TVC.
Okay.
Because if somebody who is not aware of, who are not part of, Dorbar Shnong where the hawkers are
But
there,
I was
Local
Yeah.
authorities, village
Yeah.
authorities should be included
Yes.
in the
I was
In the
told, see,
TVC.
Then you should ask the government, they should
the,
include
the
you.
composition of TVC now, I didn't bring the notification, which I got from our members. It includes, there are members from the Sindhu Kirambas, if I'm not
Yes, yes.
mistaken.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then,
in the law, it is clearly states.
yeah, police, and then of course
Local
deputy
authorities have to be
commissioner,
involved.
district administration,
Okay.
and then even from saying like KSU and so on. They are there. They are
Fine,
there. Also.
Fine.
But also we should not forget
Yeah.
that the law also prescribes a holding capacity. When our respected Rambash talk about the numbers, there is a prescription about how much this place can hold.
that is as per
There is
chapter
provision
8.
in the law.
Yeah,
Yes.
chapter
Yes,
8
yes.
talks about that, holding capacity. Yes,
Which
we-
is
I-
very,
I am
very
aware of
important.
that.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
we can go on and on talking really because it is such a vast and complex subject. I don't know why this whole situation has been complicated so much when it could be actually very simple, in a simple way, with all stakeholders coming and agreeing to actually make Shillong or make our state more progressive, should come together for the sake of our state. Bertina, what is your quick appeal really as we wind up this discussion today? Because you're facing the camera right now. You speak on behalf of so many of the people, people who are physically challenged, who are visually challenged, etc., but also on behalf of the general public.
From my side, I only have to say that for hawkers, maybe why they are not why it takes time or not accepting to go to the government, to the land where the government has provided them, because maybe there would be other a sort of thinking in them, like maybe it would be a new place for them, it will take time for them to maybe for the public also, maybe the market will not be so good like usual.
Yes.
So that is one reason. And then, but I should say, if the government could only could see in a proper way that hawkers should not sit on both sides, because that's a problem. One side at least should be free. If they could only sit from one side also with proper spaces, I think so that will not be so much of a difficulty for public to walk on footpath. But if they sit on both sides, then it's really a problem. Not only for persons with visual impairment or locomotor, but also for everybody. Because both sides, it's really a problem. If they could only sit only one side, then I think so somehow it will be better. So, and the other thing is that these days I've also come across that lots of scooties are parking on the pavement also. That is also another problem.
issue,
Now,
right.
hawkers are not there,
The scooters
but
are
scooties are there.
Scooties.
So, for that reason also, I think so the government should really look into this matter, the parking of vehicles, especially the scooters and all that, no? And then the last point what I want to say is that the only thing is that if the government should really take this matter into a very serious way, they should not like, okay, let's stop it for some time. They should continue every week after week after week or month after month, means do something that this problem will
Solve it once and for all.
solve it once
Yeah,
and
once and
for all.
for all.
And we public should also work with the government, and the government should also see for the betterment of everybody.
Right, wonderfully spoken. You know, for us who can see, we can see and we know which where is obstruction and we can avoid it. I mean, I can imagine the plight of somebody whose world is totally dark. I mean, we have to just close our eyes for 30 seconds and we would like to open it quickly because, you know, we feel scared. So I can imagine the plight that people like Bertina or seniors, even school children go through every single day. And this problem needs a solution once and for all. Lip servicing has been done enough. You know, there is a U-turn, it seems, and the government shouldn't lose out all its options. We hope there are more options before the government, that it will take all stakeholders, you know, into consideration and really solve this problem once and for all. Thank you so much for coming to the studios and giving us a way out, a way forward to this problem. And as you said, this act should be implemented in the letter and in the spirit. Bertina, I would especially like to thank you for coming to us here and engaging on this very important discussion. We wish you good luck. Can you finally tell us what is the PhD topic that you have taken up?
My PhD topic is comparative analysis of John Keats and Sosotham's literary writings.
Wonderful. We really wish you good luck. I mean, soon it will be Dr. Bertina Lyngdoh. All right? So we really, yes, you will.
So I think, may I add a word?
Right.
I think this should be an encouragement to every differently able person. Look at Bertina. She, you know, the sky is the limit.
Absolutely. No hurdle is a
Don't
hurdle.
let your,
Yeah.
you know,
If you set
your
your mind to it.
impairment, your disability, you know, put a hamper in your
Yes.
aspiration.
Yeah, of course. And
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yes.
and wonderful work is being done, in fact, by people like Bertina and many others also. And I wish her good luck. And on behalf of all of us also, quick word from you, Pa?
Before you wind up, I
Right.
just want to, put two quick points, and that is, I urge upon the state government to not dilly-dally anymore. Solve your problem at your level, at the ministerial level, and please implement this, Meghalaya street vendors, protection of livelihood and regulation, because, I'm speaking from the point of view of, as a Rambashna of Lamukra, we have schools, we have colleges, especially in the morning, the school-going children, the
They're
section,
actually
a
walking on the
particular
road.
section, the hawkers are right there on the road, which is so dangerous. We have witnessed it. All right, and in the evening, the number of people coming to Lamukra for shopping, for marketing, spaces are not available anymore. Right, and then safety and security of the commuters, of people like Bertina, are
And of
differently
course, the
able,
hawkers also.
and of hawkers also.
Right.
We do want
Absolutely.
all that to be
We
implemented
really hope
at the earnest.
Yeah.
We urge upon the government to please implement this.
Yeah.
At the earnest, because it is important. It is
It
imperative.
is a matter
that
of
it is a
serious
matter of
concern. It
serious
is a matter of
concern.
serious concern. Now
And
that the
as per the
yeah.
survey conducted, we have the list of the surveys conducted, and we can't get to that point of view, where women, 99% of hawkers in Lamukra are hawkers, not only women, are women from the rural areas.
That's
So
right. There's a lot of
if
migration.
that is the issue, that means there's a lot of problem in
Problem.
those rural
Absolutely.
areas. So the government
This is-
should
Yeah, this is
should
another
take a
issue.
very
Quick word from
Yeah,
you, Reverend.
see, 80% of the members of our association are women. And also for the past 4 terms, we have had women president leading the association. Yes, I concur with everyone that this law should be immediately implemented in letter and spirit. And thirdly, it's very sad that Shillong now is in a chaotic condition, where there is public transport, where is access to roads, and for especially for the
Accessibility, yeah.
visually impaired, and for everyone, old people and school children, and therefore any plan for street bending, as I've said before, it should be in consonance with city planning, considering all these aspects.
Okay.
And unfortunately, see, this is the issue which has to be solved only at the local urban governance. Sadly, in our state, we don't have a robust urban governance which is democratically elected. The last municipal election we had was in 1966. After that, is being run by bureaucrats, our CEO who come here for 6 months, 3 years, and then left, and new person will come. Then by the time they read out the files and look at the issue, then their turn has come for transfer. And sadly also, see, I don't want to point here, but I want to express my concern. Shillong now is a city of favelas. Very sad.
Slums.
It's a city of favelas. I don't want to point localities here where, favela-like structure are now in place. When you talk about congestion or decongestion, it's very, very problematic of Shillong. But I wish, I was talking to Ronnie V Lyngdoh just before we entered the studio, I wish that this will not be carried over to the new Shillong Township.
Yes, finally, I think there is a give and take. If the government also extends its hand, I think the other association also, that is the Vendors Association, also should give and take a little bit so that it is a mutually win-win situation for all. Thank you so much, gentlemen and Bertina, for coming to the studios. And we need to wind up today. We can take it up again next year, probably when this matter will be solved. On that note, thank you so much, viewers, for joining us. I hope you found this debate and this discussion interesting. Do leave your comments and your opinions also. Until next time, from all of us here, it's goodbye.
Thank you.